Welcome. It's like 2 a.m. right now, but I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock. I was originally gonna do a Witcher video, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. We're making a fourth game soon, so I thought, why not take a look back at it? And I recorded like an hour and 50 minutes of footage, and then it all got corrupted. So I got a bit frustrated, so making this video instead, and then I'll come back to that one later. But yeah, so I was kind of thinking about other ideas that I could have when I came across Monster Hunter again, and I thought, hey, this is like a research commission, so there gotta be a lot of researchers, right? So I decided I'd one-on-one interview with each resident of Astera, the research base in Seliana, in order to see, is it actually a research commission, or are they just lying to please the taxpayers? I actually ended up writing like a shit ton of stuff on this. Like, I have a notebook here, ended up writing like a fuck ton in it, because I had to write down like each individual person and like what their job was, and then later I compressed it into general categories, because I decided that, like, I don't know, what was it? I decided that 10 different categories of jobs was a bit too much, so I condensed it down to 5 or 6. Started off by putting on my nicest clothes while still having my most fashionable helmet on. Immediately, I encountered a bunch of hunters and quite a few stockpilers, actually. And eventually, when I got around to getting up to the research area, or like cliffside area, started talking with the people there and came across this guy. His name was Research Hunter, which that was pretty confusing, and I immediately thought, oh shit, what the f is he gonna be? So I started talking to him, and then he started talking about research, so I was like, great, awesome. That is a weight off of my soul. But I immediately then decided what I would clarify as a researcher and or hunter, which was, if they are a researcher, they're gonna have like botanist or researcher in their name, and if they're a hunter, they're gonna have one of their slingshots, like one of their sling guns. But if they talk about like researching, then I'm gonna classify them as a researcher even though they have a sling on. So yeah, went around, talked to the rest of the people, talked to the commander, decided that he would actually fit into the hunter category because he has that sling on. I didn't put him into the operations category, like people who are like operating around the base, just because he does actually go into battle quite a bit, although he mostly does a lot of yelling in the battle, but whatever. And I ended up coming up with this number, and yeah, turns out there's like a ton more like provisional people than I thought there were, which was a bit freaky, but makes a lot of sense, seeing as it is like an upstart base, whole bunch of fleets going into the new world. You're gonna need a bunch of people to watch the stock of things, and you're gonna need a bunch of people running things. But I also didn't expect there to be a pretty even line between the hunters and the researchers. I thought the hunters would definitely outweigh the researchers quite a bit, but obviously if I was in multiplayer, then there'd be like a million different hunters, and then like, what was it, 7, there'd be like 7 researchers, so I'm not sure how that would have gone. But we're not doing multiplayer, we're just doing single player. Offline mode, research base, sure is something. It's a research base, so you'd think there'd be a lot of researchers, and there are. If these numbers are to be believed, otherwise known as from talking with people, there's a lot of researchers. I think like there's 6. Looked at my numbers here, there's 6 of them, and there's like, what, 1 provisions person and 1 crafter. I talked to this dude, he was selling some gear, so I thought that he was going to be also in the provisional area because he's selling stuff and not crafting stuff. But then after talking to him, I realized very quickly that there was a forge option, indicating that yes, he's a smithy, so he's a crafter, so he goes in the crafting section. There are, surprisingly, no hunters at the research base. I, for one, don't think that's a good idea, because the research base is between two quite dangerous areas in the new world. And then just looking at the Seliana base, good old snowy area, it's the most newest base, so there should be quite a lot of upstarts in there, quite a lot of people. Immediately I started, you know, going around talking with people. There's a lot of cats, a lot of cat workers, not just cat cooks. That was what you would usually see for the other area, Astera. But yeah, there's a lot of those, a lot of people going around. And as I was looking around, I then got very distracted. I found this one hunter, oddly named the Curious Fiver, which was ironic because it made me very curious. I immediately thought of, what is the NPC movement in this game? And I followed around this Curious Fiver until they did a full loop. They ended up doing a full loop and would just continue doing more loops, which I found to be quite curious, as I thought they would just disappear, because there's like 3 types of NPCs in Monster Hunter World. There's the standstill ones, which don't move at all. There's the, which I found out, the roundabout ones, the ones that have like a set path. And there is the ones that kind of move around for a little bit, go to a quest board, and then they go on a little expedition, they go and disappear. But anyway, going back to the whole point of this video, I talked around with a couple more people, then I went to the gathering hub in single player, obviously, and there were a couple quest givers there, a couple managerial people, a couple provisional people, and I ended up coming across some people that were just chilling in the saunas, and it actually took me a while to kind of figure out what category they would actually go into, because I don't know, they didn't have like a slinger. All they were just talking about was how sweet these saunas were, which, you know, good on you, but I'm trying to do some research here. So I kind of just chilled with them for a little bit, couldn't really figure it out. I ended up coming across this awesome scene, put it up right now. Yeah, you know, it really made me think how good this game was. It made me really excited to see wilds and, you know, my amazing computer that can definitely run it. But yeah, I ended up coming up with this category, the miscellaneous category, because I have no fucking clue what these people do for a living. They could be hunters, I don't know. I assume they're hunters, but I'm just not going to place them in any category because they got nothing on them. They don't have slingers. And in the end, I ended up coming up with this pie chart. Wow. And oddly enough, there is more researchers than hunters this time, but also oddly enough, there's more provisional people again, which again makes sense because, you know, it's a new base. You need a bunch of people to run things. It's crazy. Shockingly though, if you compare the two pie charts from Astera and Seliana, there are the same amount of crafters in both. There's both 3 smithy people and 1 melder, and obviously 1 poogie too between the both. But you know, poogie doesn't count. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting there to be as many researchers as there were, and it was a very enlightening experience being able to talk to the different NPCs. And yeah, they like all basically had different lines to them. It was really weird. I expected a couple of them to at least have a couple of the same lines, which, I mean, a couple did, but everyone at least had 1 unique line, which was pretty good. But yeah, if you need a moral to this video, I guess keep the job market balanced, you know, provide for what you need, but, you know, make sure you do what you want. That's the most important thing in the world. And, you know, my next video will probably take a lot longer because I gotta re-record everything for what corrupted and actually edit it all together. So it might take like a month, who knows, maybe 2, depending on how slow I go. Got a bunch of other things I gotta do anyway. So yeah, catch you in the next one.